Hello and welcome back to the Finish Line and our third last podcast of the season. And we're taking a well-deserved break for the summer. Thanks be to the Lord. We are here for our Irish National preview. We are going to go through 5 races, which will culminate in the Irish National itself. But before we do all that, a bit of housekeeping. Tom, scale of 1 to 10, how are the nerves?
Oh, yeah, not too bad. As I just said before, it's not too bad. With a 20-1 shot, it's easy enough. If she was favourite, I'd be getting nervous already. But I think it's kind of one of those you're just living the dream and seeing what might happen. So.
Sean, I don't know about you. I don't believe a fucking word of that.
I don't know why. I'd say Tom's probably had 3 sleepless nights so far in the week and probably 4 more to go, isn't it, until Sunday?
He's after going through this race about 10 times. All the scenarios that can happen. What can happen at the first, second, third, fourth hurdle? What
happened up his own pace map and all he has.
I'll turn up. My concern at the minute is sorting tickets because, of course, all of the owners want to go and then all of the family want to go as well. So could be a costly day out for me on Sunday trying to get tickets sorted.
Yeah. Sean, how are you?
Yeah, all good, yeah. Good. I think there's some decent racing, some tricky racing, but some good competitive racing. So hopefully we'll pick out a few winners.
We will try. Right, we get cracking. First one we're going to get out of the way, Tom, is the 2:35 on Saturday. This is where Tom will be. I think he'll be doing a Richie, not being able to watch it. Grade 1, Honeysuckle Mares Novices Hurdle over 2 mile 4 furlongs. A lot of the Cheltenham horses, well, I say a lot of Cheltenham horses, second and fourth out of the Mares Novice at Cheltenham are here. Bright Days Ahead, Jade Grugy, the Tara, Cala Conti, Fun, Only by Night. Who cares about the rest? Bar Pastoral. Tom, is all things well with Pastoral going into Sunday? I said Sunday.
Yeah, all's good. All's good. The plan is to run, so yeah, looking forward to it. Deck's on Friday, obviously, so we'll get that out of the way with and stuff first. But plan as of now is to run, and yeah, looking forward to it. First Grade 1 runner is a huge deal for a syndicate of our size and our budget. I think she was just over 20 grand coming out of a claimer in Po. So yeah, we've been lucky. We've been lucky with those claimers in Po. Alice Averill came out of one. Pastoral has come out of one, and Ever the Salesman. We've got Zurich. He's out of the claimer in Po as well, and shares are definitely available in him at the minute. But yeah, look, she's got her chance of being placed. I think Brighter Days Ahead is up at the top of the market. Going into Cheltenham, they didn't see a way she could be beat. I don't think. I know she beat us 12 lengths, but we were the only ones to travel into the straight with her. And I think we'd have beaten Mel Monroe by a lot further than 3 lengths. Dara kind of nursed her into the race, and then he had to take his chance to go and see if he could beat the winner and kicked on. I think if she wasn't in the race, he'd have held on to her a bit longer and wouldn't snug me. So she'd have been a hell of a lot shorter coming into this off the back of that. She's done nothing but improve all season. She's strengthened up physically. The transformation in her is incredible. I've obviously seen her a good few times, and she's really strengthened up. So what I would say is I think she's worth her mark. I think 125 is fair. And, the odd year, 125 can get you placed in this. So we'll give it a go. But look, it looks fairly strong up at the top of the market. For what it's worth, punting-wise, I'd take on the first 2. I think they had a hard race at Cheltenham. It's only 17 days ago because Easter is early this year. Heavy ground, back onto heavy ground now, and 2 mile 4. I'd take the 2 of those on if they run. And then you got Jatara. She ran bad in this last year, but she's run well at Fairyhourse before, and she'd been to Cheltenham. She comes here a fresh horse. I'd say she's probably the one to beat. Then you've got Carla Conti. She's only 4, but she's getting plenty of weight for that. And Fun got beat at Fairyhourse, but made a bad mistake at the last and has improved since then. So it's a strong enough race. If we were in the first 4, we'd be over the moon. So Yeah,
What?
it's competitive.
Sean, what about you?
Yeah, look, I'd be the same as Tom. I'd have the same opinion of taking on the two at the top of the market. It's a quick turnaround from Cheltenham, and as Tom's touched on, like it's already heavy and they're due a bit more rain. This is going to be tough out slogging now, to be honest with you. And I don't know if I don't know if she's not going to run or she's just being extremely overlooked here. But I think Fun or 8-1 is a cracking price. Like she's a horse that's come on every run, and as Tom touched on, she should be unbeaten, arguably only for that bad mistake. Sort of strange mistake that she made at Tourist. Jumped the hurdle fine, but her back leg sort of went on her and she lost. She was brought to a standstill essentially and was beaten by Bordia Bust, who she was going to have well the beating of, who ran a good race at Cheltenham. She's then gone and ran twice against the Gelding. She was sent over to Exeter where she beat Favour and Fortune. And then she came to Nace the last day where I thought she was mega impressive, as good as I've ever seen her, to be honest with you. She was popped off the front. They had Mirzor West and Martin's Way in the race, and they couldn't lay a glove on her. She sat off the front, and Paul Townend sent her about her business, and she won hard hell, to be honest. He was taking a pull going back up the hill. The job was done. She won by 5 or 6 lengths, and I think she brings solid form in here. She's matured, as I said, a lot. She used to be a bit free going in bumpers, but I think she's settled a lot, and coming in here now, step up and trip. Fairyhourse isn't exactly the stiffest test. I think she'd be fine around here. She came up the nice hill, and she certainly was not stopping. I just think her 8-1, she's being massively overlooked.
Yeah, I agree with you on her. Like the ground on Sunday is bottomless, I'd say, and will it be on as well is another thing if the rain keeps coming the way it is. But yeah, look, I'm the same as Tom. I'm inclined to steer away from the top two, especially with only being 17-day turnaround on the back of them race at Cheltenham. The one who I'm kind of keen on is Bioluminescent for Gavin Cromwell. She's a massive mare. She was behind Look to the West in November, but in a maiden hurdle, but that was over 2 miles. She stepped up to 2 mile 4 at Punchestown and won by 3.5 lengths. Then she stepped up with Grade 3 Company and bolted up by 3.25 lengths. She is a very, very classy mare in the making. She does have to turn around with Look to the West, who has form behind Jade. But I think the progression she's shown and the fact that she will have absolutely no worries with the ground whatsoever. She travels through it like she's going like any horse that knows a bit of good ground will go through it. There's not many horses who will appreciate this ground. She's going to have no problems. She's currently 12th world best price. I think she's a cracking each way price. Caliconte as well. Her farm has kind of been franked through the triumph, but that's again, it's a 4-year-old. It's a big ask for to go and win this. But yeah, I think Bioluminescent 12-1. I think she's a massive price. I'd be kind of keen to keep on the right side of her, even if she doesn't win this week. She's a horse from the future. Right. Next, we're going to move on to Paddy Keogh suspended Ceilings Novices hurdle, Grade 2 over 2 mile 4 furlong. No flies on him. It looks like he's going to run. He's a 7-4. Tunis Aver is 9-2. Rush Mount is 5-1. The Capo 6. He looks like he's going to run a different race. Massey Fenn, Olympic Man, and I Will Be Paid. Sean, no flies on him. A lot of hype around him between he's second behind Tully Hill, but that form doesn't look the greatest now in which Girgo after being pulled up at Cheltenham as well, and Tully Hill after being well and truly beaten in the Supreme.
Yeah, look, I liked him in the first one. I was up in Leopardstown when he won at Christmas. I thought he was wicked impressive, to be honest with you. He went off the front, he settled no problem and pinged every hurdle, and then he was off the track. I just wonder, did he have a little setback, or maybe they let him off as he missed a good few weeks and he was brought back and he was given a ride now that I'd say it wasn't exactly full, I'm going to win today. He was held in behind. He wasn't really let go and let us jump in the way he did the first day. And he wasn't really asked the question seriously when the taps were turned on. He went for a gap up, but Mark Walsh didn't end them. And then he's made a mistake at the last and he's plugged on for second. I do see what you're saying about the form, but I just think there could be improvement about this lad. He's by a trainer that was never going to send him to Cheltenham, in my opinion. He's always going to take the slow and steady route, probably here at Fairyhourse and then on to Punchestown. I'd say the step up and trip, he won't have a problem at all. And I think in a race now, to be quite honest, for a Grade 2, there's not really Grade 2 horses in here. You have the Willie Mullins horse who won first time up in the maiden and looked decent. Outside of that, I don't think it's too strong, to be honest with you. And if he was to come on for that run, I think he could have a big hand to play. Like, he's up the top of the market, he's 7-4. I think that says it all.
Top?
Yeah, look, it's incredibly tricky. I think one favourite has won this in the last 10 runnings. That was Shane's Hill. He went off 4-9 in 2015. He was the last horse to win that went to Cheltenham in that same year as well. So I think you can be looking outside of anything that went there. Which I now said that I don't think there's anything there actually, is there?
No.
That's probably why they don't win if they go to Cheltenham. The one I was going to throw up as an interesting one was Olympic Man. He got his act together. He went off cheap to 5 and got beaten at Galway in October, but he won very, very nicely at Naas last time out. He's got a mark of 131. I thought he could play a hand at 6-1, but yeah, it's tricky. No flies on him, obviously. Though he looked a very nice horse, didn't he? But he got put in his place by Tully Hill. I do wonder if better ground would suit him better, and I wonder if he'd run or wait until Punchestown. So yeah, I'll take a chance on Olympic Man.
Yeah, I want to steer away from no flies on him as well, especially after being put in his place by Tully Hill. I was on the verge of putting up Olympic Man, but I went back and watched his last race. His jumping would be the worry. If he decides he's able to jump a fence, the engine is there. He'll have a massive part to play if he decides to jump properly. But then again, I went back and watched Tunes of Aether's maiden win the last time, and it was mighty impressive. Jumped really well bar the last, and he tried to cha-cha slide after he landed over the last, and he lost about 3 to 4 lengths. But within a matter of seconds, Paul gave him a squeeze, and he picked up like a rocket, and he won really, really cozy. The 1 1/4 lengths doesn't tell the full story whatsoever. For a horse to do that on his debut was mighty impressive. And it's not a strong grade 2 in the slightest. Like Rushmount, he's okay form, but you'd be shocked there's nothing better than him here. The Capo I would be interested in, but I think he's going to run in a different race. Mossy Femme won last time up. I think it was at Down Royal. He needs to improve again. But look, if Olympic Man and Tunes of Aether turn up, I think it's between the two of them. I'm really not keen on no flies on him, especially 7-4. I think he's a horse people should take on. And the rest of them are just much is really between the lot of them. But I think Tunes of Aether and Olympic Man are the two that I would probably side with, depending on who runs here. But it's a poor grade 2. Right, what's next? 345. Dunhoe Marquis, grade 2 novice hurdle over 2 miles. We have Baby Fernie, Mercier West. The Capo is in here 3-1. Western Diego 9-2. Another way 5s. Daddy Longlegs 8s. And Bigger Arrest. Tom, where are you going with this one?
Yeah, this is tricky. I think I'd probably want to stay away from Mirrors of West if he starts acting up, especially on this ground. He could find it very tricky. I thought Another Way was interesting. Bombed out the first day. Well, I say he bombed out the first day. In fairness, he travelled into the race to the bend, and he just didn't find much. But he won really, really nicely at Punchestown. Outside of the second there, the form probably isn't worth that much, and even the second it's probably not worth that much. But he won very, very well. He'll go on heavy ground by the looks of how he went through the ground at Punchestown that day, so he could have his chance. And the other one I'll give a shout out to if it runs here is Gold Dancer, the Willie Mullins horse, thrown into a grade 1 first time at Leopardstown at the DRF, and then they've come here. He ran okay that day. Is all you could really say. But I'd say there's a lot more to come from him, whether it's this year or next year. But yeah, if he ran, he'd be interesting.
Sean?
Yeah, look, I'm sweet. I'm on a bit of an outsider here now, to be honest with you. It would be Boy Charlie's 20-1. I think he's a great each way bet. In a race where, look, I'm going to take on Mirror West. I think he does everything wrong. And I said it from earlier on, the warning signs. He gets keen. His jumping the last day was a bit erratic as well. And I think he's just not going to live up to the hype that he thought he was going to be at the start of the season. Then you have a couple of horses who are in other races. And I'd say this field could corrupt, to be quite honest with you. And you go through his form. Look, his first day he ran on a track and he was second to Waterford Whispers, who's gone on and ran a cracking race in the pipe. He was then, where I'd say he was stuck to the floor for 2 races to collect his handicap mark. He was stepped up to 2.5 miles behind Martin's Way, and then he's behind Ballybourne. But then he's come out at Christmas and they've absolutely absolutely punted him off the boards in a handicap hurdle. And he made a move out the back of the Leopardstown straight that you don't see many horses do. He went from last to first, went all the way up around the outside, probably cost himself 20 lengths. He was out on the far wing, and he went the furthest way around and still had a bit left in the tank after to go away and win at the line. He then comes back to the DRF where he was well punted again, 11-2. He travelled into the race nicely, but he's clipped the second last and came down. Now, he took a bad fall. I'd be hoping he's all right and he's going to run here. But he was travelling to that nicely, and I think he would have had a big hand to play. And in a race that's, look, as you said, I'm going to take on the top, and I think it's not the strongest grade 2 again. At 20-1, I think he's better of his mark of 130 that he's at currently. I wouldn't be surprised if he is a 140 horse, and I think that could be well competitive to run in here. So be at by Charlie at 20-1 each way.
Yeah, I was looking at him, and I clicked on it, and then the entries. I was suspecting this is going to be a token entry, and they're going to go with the 123 for a handicap. He's not in any handicaps.
He's not in any of them, yeah.
I was thinking you might.
Yeah, I think he's a good horse, to be honest with you. And I think they knew and they got their money on, because the two maiden hurdle runs are, I tell you, is eye-catching is the least you'd say watching them two. Yeah,
I think that, look, it's a good shout if he runs here, because I think he is a makings of a very good horse, especially what he done first time, or not first, his first win, where, as you said, he went from last to first, he went out to the bloody car park and back in. He still ended up winning on the snaff, and then he decided to try rugby tackle some horses out of the way at the DRF. I think there was a few of us on him that day. But yeah, look, nothing wrong with that. I like that. I'm the same. I want to take on Mirjo West. He's after getting 3 chances now. He's after winning 1 race. He's showing signs that he needs to mature like Fernie did. And if I see, I'll steer clear of him. The Capo is one I like here. Won well last time up. I know he beat Ashley Bob, who hasn't won in about 3 years. But look, he's a solid arse. That wasn't his kind of trip. And Gordon's come out and saying that he's finally after getting the key to him, and he travelled through the race really well, jumped really well, and he put the race to bed very easily in the end. I think 3-1 is a fair enough price. I think he'll go off favourite. Western Diego is a horse I wouldn't trust. I would not back with counterfeit money. He's a head case. He's 9-2. I think he'll drift on the day. Another Way is one that could definitely improve. Daddy Longlegs, I don't think he'd like the ground if he turns up. But yeah, I think this will cut up a lot. And I agree with Sean. I think Attaboy Charlie will go off a lot shorter there. And but I really like the Capo. I think the Capo would have a great chance of winning this. Second last one before we get on to the Irish National is the Willow Warm Gold Cup Chase. Grade 1 over 2 mile 4. We have Blood Destiny against Balance Taylor once more. Elite Tomp, who was last seen finished 3rd in the Arkle. Found 50, who was 2nd in the Arkle. Tactical Moves on here. Saint Felician, T Component Gent, flanking the New Vare. Tom, 1 from 1 all. Blood Destiny, Balance Taylor. Is it between the two of them or something else on the outside of it?
Yeah, they're having the right little ding dong this season, aren't they? Kind of, they're probably, in fairness, like this is a grade 1. I'd say they're probably grade 2 horses. Spillans Tower maybe has the opportunity to go and progress further. I think it's between them. I'm going to be keen to take on anything that ran at Cheltenham, especially on that ground. I'd come in here so close, like Ilite Tomp and found a 50. Ever only 19 days ago, Zanaher for St. Felician 17 days ago. Like I just couldn't have that backing it up. I take Spillans Tower. I think the step up and trip and the heavier ground here. I know it was heavy the last day, but they ran basically on the feckin' all-weather track down to the start, coming up the straight. So I can't see that was as heavy. And this is back to going descriptions and being mental. It was soft at Punchestown the time before and heavy at Navan. I'm telling you, it was definitely softer at Punchestown. I think that'll play into Spillans Tower's hands. I think the step up and triple suit. I just think Blood Destiny, I never get him right. God only knows. He looked a superstar on his first start this season. Then he got beat the next day. I can never get him right. So I'll take a chance on Spillans Tower.
Sean?
Yeah, looking a tricky weekend. This is by far my best bet of the weekend, and it's going to be Spillans Tower at 2-1. I think he's a cracking bet in here against Blood Destiny. Look, as you said, they face off for the 3rd time, but what's key is back up to 2.5 miles, in my opinion. Spillans Tower, look, he's been a work in progress, and they built him up slowly, and now they've had that tilt at a grade 1. They weren't going to rush him and get the Cheltenham, but we've seen at Punchestown over 2.5 miles, he was able to get the better of him. And a day where I'd say, if you have a go and look back, I don't think they were too pushed on that being D-Day. And Mark Walsh all of a sudden has come to the last, and he's got no choice but to go past Blood Destiny. And he goes and beats him around. He one slap down the neck. He's beaten very comfortably. Then they went back to Navan, where it was just ran all wrong for Spillane Tower. Back down to 2 miles. He was giving them, I think it was £7 that day he was giving them, and the race was ran out of doddle. They walked around, they sprint down off the Navan straight, and Blood Destiny was just a quicker horse than him. He was never going to be able to catch him with the speed he has, and Mark Walsh gave him an easy time. Back up to 2.5 miles here, racing off levels. He doesn't have to concede any weight for the first time this season against him. I think that's a massive part to play. Up over 2.5 miles, I think Blood Destiny is soft in the finish, and if Spillane Tower is able to put up a challenge going down to the last fences, only going to be one winner in my book. I'll take on Imperial and Ilite Tom. He had a grueling race at Cheltenham, and they were talking about backing him up. I'd be happily take him on all day. I'd say found the 50 will go to Punchestown, and for that reason I'd say it'd be a match race, and I'd be very confident that Spillane Tower will turn that form of Blood Destiny.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is Spillane Tower for the taking. If found the 50 turned up here, I would be massively interested in, even though this is the quick turnout. I think the step up and trip again is what he's crying out for. I could see him running in Ryanair next year. I think the further he goes, the better he's going to be. But the top two, I think, are the ones that are going to turn up. And you just said, Sean, the turnaround of the weights is going to be massive here. A step up and trip in the ground. I have Blood Destiny down as being just better over 2 miles. I think he'll get caught for. I know he's won over 2-4, beating Henry's horse at the start of the season. Hartwood. But look, you can take them races with a pinch of salt at the start of the season. He got his own way out in front. No one wanted to go near him. But this is a different kettle of fish. This is a grade 1. He's going to get hassled. And I think if Mark Walsh can't feck this up like he does sometimes, he will take a lot of beating in this.
I think Spillane Tower is a very good horse going for. I think it does take a slowly route with him. He's a big horse. He was raw, and I'd say he could be a 3-miler in time, and I think he'd definitely be up to grade 1 class. Yeah,
I think he'd be strong. He's going to be a stronger steer over this trip as well, especially on the ground. I think Blood Destiny, if he does too much out in front and on that type of ground, it's going to fall in the hole, and it's going to sit up nicely for Spillane Tower.
And then not having to give him weight for the first time as well, I think is massive. Like 4 and 7 pounds he was giving him.
I think he was 5-2 this morning. He's now in his as short as 2-1 in the place. Yeah, I think it'll take a massive form to stop him winning this. Right, last one we are going to do is the Irish Grand National over 3 miles, 5 furlongs. A max field of 30 with only 26 running. What the fuck is going on? We have Sean's Fairyhourse, Nick Rock in a 4-1 favourite. We have Intense Raffles at 8s, Hector Dark, 9s, Desmore House 10s, and bigger rest. Sean, are you going in Nick Rock at 4-1, or it's hard? That's hardly value, as they say.
Yeah, no, I'd be staying clear of that 4-1 now, to be honest. Look, it's probably the Willie Mullins fight. I still can't get over that they didn't send him to Cheltenham, to be quite honest with you, but here they are going to rock up in an Irish National, and look, 4-1 in a National wouldn't be for me. I can see the point, but he's too short. I'd say he will drift on the day. I can't see him going off 4-1. I went through a couple, and like you come down to your old schoolers, like you could back Dunboyne now, you'd be on the steel going down to the second last, and you'd be pulled up by the last. If you want to run for your money, you can have your £2 on him. You'll have. He's a mad thing now. He will travel absolutely on the dicky to the second last and just say, fuck this, I'm out, and does not even bother jumping the last.
He sees the horse back and he goes, oh, time to go home, I'm stopping now.
He's hilarious. Like, you watch him in the Toyota days, it's even better, and then you go and watch him the last day and he does it again. But look, I went up and down this field, and you just come back, there's one sore thumb sticking out in the field, and it's just hard to get away from him. It's this Intense Raffles. Look, he's 2 from 2 over here. He's come over from France. He's somehow been off the track 400 and something days, and he's still only a 6-year-old. That tells you how early they start racing in France. But they've look, it's been the making of him coming over here. The first time he beat the Gordon Elliott horse, Where It All Began, who then went up and bolted up in the Grand National in the national trial for this by 16 lengths. He absolutely walked that race, and then he went back to Fairyhourse again for the second run over 3 miles too, and it was over after the first fence. He kicked out, he was jumping for fun, and they were never getting anywhere near him. He had Branton Bell and Good Time Johnny in behind him that day. Look, he has course form. He's running the track twice, being electric. He goes on heavy ground. Going to have heavy ground here around the exact same track at Fairyhourse. I just think he could be unexposed. Like, he's in here off a mark of, what did I have it down as? Sorry, I got enough yet. Yeah, he's in here off a mark of 140. Look, he could have £10 in hand. No one knows, to be honest with you. He's dicked up in his first 2 races and he's stepping up. I think staying trips will be the make of him. He could easily have £10 in hand. And for me, he's just a horse you have to back, and we'll see what happens on the day.
Tom?
Yeah, look, I think we said in the week, didn't we? We put it in the group and said there's one that sticks out like a sore thumb, and I do think it is him. I think 8-1 is fair. If he's trained by anyone else, he'd be a lot shorter, I think. But Tom Gibney trains up in Meath. You know, I'm sure he's had this in mind for a while for him. Look, you can question the form of the last day. There's only 4 runners, only 3 of them finished, but the way he did it, he just absolutely bolted up, didn't he? So he's very, very interesting. I think if you're taking a view on the race, you've got to have him on your side. Martin Brassel seems to be fairly sweet on Desert Moorhouse, and you can see they've obviously done, they've minded this lad. They ran him and left him stand.
And Blake Thomas.
Scam.
Yeah. Look, since the Listowel, the Kerry National, I imagine that he's just had this in his mind. He's won this before in Novices Valverde as well. So, I'd be very keen on. I think if you take the 2 of those, I think one of those is going to give you a hell of a run for your money. And they're 8-1 and 10-1. They're fair prices. And yeah, I mean, it's one of those this year, isn't it? It's crazy to see that it's not. I don't even know if it's going to. Well, it's not going to be a full field, is it? So
no.
Yeah, it's not going to be a full field. And even if the weights stay as they are, what weight is not? So 133 would be in the handicap. Like, Jesus, that's a shocker, really, isn't it? So, I'd say there's plenty of people running and taking their chance down the bottom of those weights anyway. But I think Intense Raffles, if the weights stay the way they are, he's only got 10-7 on his back as well. Desert Moorhouse has got 10-11. I think they should have good chances.
Yeah, 3 for 3 for Intense Raffles. I went back and watched the last 2 runs. He looks like there's a lot more left in the tank. Course form, ground form, there's a lot to like about him. Jumps really well. I was going back. I remember the last time we had an Irish national that was run on ground like this was back in 2018. And I just happened to go back and watch it. And then I went back to the write-up of it. 6 out of the first 7 were all up with the pace. So I think when the ground gets like this at Fairyhourse, it really does pay to be up with the pace, because it's very hard to make ground, especially with the way the fences are laid out at Fairyhourse. If you're missing them and fellas out in front are jumping them well, you just can't make up the ground. So I went for 2 horses who I think will be up with the pace, who jump well and who have decent enough weights. First one is obviously Intense Raffles. I think he has his obvious chance. And the second one is We'll Have One, Willie Mullins' horse. He went off 5-4 for a race at Punchestown over 3 mile 3. That was actually the Grand National trial. He was beat by where it all began. For love of fuck, it's been a long day. Where it all began. He was backed off the boards, like the feet was out of the question, and he got beat by 16 lengths in the end. But I think he's a horse who still has a lot of improvement to come from. I'd be willing to give him another chance. He's 16-1. He's going to get in off 9-4 if the weights stay the same. He's a horse now, I think, will run a massive race. Just a wild one out there as well. Street Valley, he will stay longer than the mother-in-law. He's won over a course of distance before. He'll be up at the pace as well. He's currently 50-1. I won't put anyone off having a small each way bet on him as well. But I think the 2 I mentioned there will have a big chance. But I think Intense Raffles will run a massive, massive race. I think 10-7 is a fair enough weight to be lumping around there. Anything over around 10-11, you kind of want to be looking lower than that, especially on ground like this. So I think they're the ones I want to be on side with for the Irish National.
Andrew, I think you were saying Street Value is actually a good shout. He's ran bad the last couple of times, including in the Estes, but his course form is very, very good. He won the
Did he win earlier in the season? I think I was up there that day when he won.
Yeah, he won the Porterstown in December, and
The Royal Bond meeting, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he was going to nearly win at this meeting last year. I know a few of the lads involved in the syndicate, and we were up there chatting to them. Zoff ran this on National Day last year, and we were having a chat, and he was nearly going to win as well. He fell at last. So I think the course form is there, and if he can bounce back, he's got a hell of a chance. Yeah.
He's only £5 higher than winning the last time. I think it's just the conditions of the race and the way it's going to be run. I think it'll suit him down to the ground. I just think 50-1 is a massive price for him.
It's if he can travel. He can often come off the bridle and race behind the bridle. If he can travel well enough in it, he's got a good chance.
You wouldn't imagine though they're really going to go off like the clappers on Sunday, on Monday.
It depends what 3 7-pound climbers are off the front.
Did you see Paddy Brennan today?
Oh, I'd love to know what he was saying to him. I would absolutely.
That's hilarious.
I was hoping he'd done the Jamie Spencer. Halfway through, I was hoping he waved at them, to be honest with you.
but then he nearly decked him at last. I thought that was the best bit of it on. Paddy went 1-2 and North went, no.
Pop this. You sit the fuck down, Superman. He done it again. He done it again in the next race when he won. He had a little pop at whoever was next to him in whether something was said. I think something was said on a podcast. Not only podcast, it was Sean Bowen and Harry Cobden, and someone put up. They were going through a tweet said about them, and somebody put up a tweet saying, "I can't remember off the time. I'll try retweet it on my Twitter after." It was something referring to one of them like Paddy Brennan, and the two of them had a face on like they weren't happy with it at all. I'll try find it and retweet it, but yeah. Any other news before we go? It's only fucking half an hour.
Any other news? No, I'm just trying to look at the racing news actually and see if there's anything jumping up. Dubai World Cup, Sean, you surely got something for that.
Dubai World Cup, I don't, but I know Augusto Rodin is running, isn't he? I think he's out there for Aiden, and I'm sure he has a battalion of crew elsewhere.
That'd be interesting now.
Yeah, the ride he got out in America that time was Ryan Moore with absolute balls of steel, may I say. He went down the rail and absolutely no prisoners taken out there.
Are we looking forward to the flat?
There's one horse. There's one horse that could potentially be the Frankel, and it's that City of Troy. And it's coming out and saying that they're gonna go Guineas Derby and back to the door, like he's gonna be an intriguing watch. If he's able to take out them races, like he's traveling them, he's doing everything with them. Like it could be a special season ahead.
Now look, I'll give it to you. He does look exceptional. I
love him since last year.
Yeah, I happened to be watching his debut, and I noticed that Ryan couldn't put him up. So I followed him and been on him since then. But they say this every year, don't they?
Of course. Yeah.
Every one of these is going to be the next Triple Crown winner. But I know hopefully he does now.
It's a justified thing that excites me. All these justifies that they're at the getting bred out are turning into fucking machines. They're 4-year-old, 2-year-olds nearly at some stages. The size, like City of Troy was a juggernaut for a 2-year-old. He shouldn't have been doing what he was doing then.
Is there a not fear, but fear that the 2-year-olds who were beaten are going to close that gap or mark will be like the Henry Longfellow. There's a lot of talk about this fellow as well.
Yeah, I'd say it's a year that Aiden could be taking out France, England, and Ireland. To be honest with you,
it's just if they train on. And that Rastellan is a nice horse of Richard Hannon's. I saw an article on him the other day. Be interested to see where he goes. Did I tell you we got a yearling?
No, did you get one in the end?
Yeah, no, I haven't mentioned on the show, but yeah, we got a yearling, a Nube yearling, a nice yearling. And
is it out of school? Is it out one of these schooling races, Tom? Can we send it up to one of these barrier trials and I'll tell we get the juices flowing?
Fucking thing in Dundalk already. Fuck off, mate.
No, he's in pre-training over here. He's broken. He's really developing nicely now, and he's going to go into train with Carl Burke, which is quite exciting because.
Tell me you did.
Yeah. He had a phenomenal season last season. So yeah, as we keep joking, it's one of those the dream's still
So we're
alive.
going to Royal Ascot, Tom. Is that what you're saying?
At the minute we're going to the Chesham first time out. Yeah, exactly. But we'll see if that changes.
Probably top hat to fit my head. Fuck me, big enough. It's
First flat yearling I'm at though, so yeah, looking forward to it. Be good fun.
Do you know what you should do now? You wrangle up your French horses now that you have in the Pimlico colours and get one to run the weekend we're over there.
Yeah.
The weekend we're in. Yeah, I know. So yeah, we were there last year and we said we'd love a run of the following year, but we kind of have slowed up a little bit on some of the French shows now. But if we can get a run of there, it'd be unreal. Yeah, might have to look out for.
What if I know we were talking about it in the chat? Just back up Pastoral and for the Krakens. Throw in against a few of the.
Just run around the French champion hurdle time. Just win.
Fecker is a lot against Lassie now.
Stick her and Lossie Map next to each other. You wouldn't be able to pick who's who, would you?
You wouldn't know what Dave O'Keefe is going to look either.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, someone's just commented, Tom West Balboa Aintree, no horses, smiley face.
All of a sudden.
That's what it's been all year, Tom. She's had ulcers.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
This is 3 mile grade 1 on the dicky.
Yeah, back in that handicap. But yeah, looking forward to that trip. Andrew booked a hotel today, so Paris in May for the French Gold Cup. Yeah, it's gonna be good fun.
Great. All me and Dave have to do is turn up at Dublin Airport.
I know. Well for some, isn't it? I'll have my spreadsheet out, everything planned. John, they sent on their passports to me, right? The two. I said to him, I look like I'm bringing 2 minders with me for the fucking weekend.
We promise we won't get arrested.
And then you have to walk in and say that you're the youngest of the three, Tom. Then it gets funny.
Yeah.
We can't do that. It's the first time in how long we know each other, I'll actually get to see Tom Rain's passport.
Yeah, Jesus, yeah. You have to take a photo, take a selfie with that.
There you go. Right, that is us. Go on.
Nap's the next best, or are we?
Yeah, Nap's the next best. Yeah, go on. Fuck, Nap's the next best, Sean. Nap's and next best, Sean. Jesus.
Nap would be Spillane Tower. He's 2-1. I think he's a cracking bet. I could see him probably being 6-4, to be honest, on the day. And the next bet is at a boy Charlie. I backed him 20-1 each way. I think if he runs in that race, he'll definitely outrun his odds.
Thomas.
Yeah, I'll put it this way. I think Sean, you're on the money with Spillane Tower. At the minute, I'm going to be he's definitely going to be a bet for me. And then in the national, I'm going to back. I'll probably have a smaller bet on Desert Morehouse and a bigger bet on Intense Raffles. So at the minute, they're looking like the bets for me for the weekend.
Away from the national, Spillane Tower, Nap, and I think Bioluminescence in the 2:35 each way.
Thanks, Andrew.
To finish a short head ahead of Pastoral.
Short head behind Pastoral would be even better, to be honest. Yeah.
And we will all cheer Pastoral.
No, Tom, what's going to happen is she's going to win the race, and the stewards are going to kick her out. Andrew's going to get paid, and then you get first place on Pastoral.
See, we have this all planned out.
I'll take it.
This is the first time we haven't tipped up the horse. So now that we're doing the due diligence of
thing.
We're what's the thing? We're manifesting Pastoral win.
Yeah, I look, fingers crossed. If she was in the first 4, we'd be absolutely over the moon. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
On that note, if you're up at Fairyhourse on Saturday, Dave and Tom will be up there. Sunday, for fuck's sake, Andrew. Sunday, Dave and Tom will be up there. Go say hello to them.
Make sure you can say hello to Dave and give him a big hug.
Yeah, Dave needs a hug every now and then. On that note, we are back the Wednesday the 10th for the Grand National Preview. And then our last one of the season will be on the 28th of April for the Punchestown Festival Preview. Until then, enjoy Fairyhourse, enjoy Easter, and we'll see you next time.